G'day guys and welcome back. This week we're going to touch on someone that doesn't sound right at all, but we're going to touch on somebody who we haven't seen for quite some time. I don't know if they've left the platform, but with a rating from a video such as this one, well, it's no small surprise if they've left. I speak, of course, of MultiT0mt0m, as you saw in that little bit I just showed you. So without further interruption, hopefully, enjoy. Don't worry, you haven't blue screened. This is just the intro to his video. I haven't created any of this. It's abysmal. I am deeply sorry for this. But we might get some laughs out of it, so let's just jump right in, eh? Okay. Deep breath. I know. But can we just... the sun is not hot. I could just end the video right here, and that would be perfect. Because we know the sun's hot. It's very hot. But you're here for the shits and giggles, so let's get in. This is intentional. I'm teasing. I'm like, you really want to hear him. You want to hear the dumb. You know you do. Yeah. Just... Alright.
The sun, a giant nuclear furnace that is 93 million miles away, producing heat and light.
And that's the only facts he's going to have in this entire video. So he's just debunked himself, I guess, before it's even started. I don't know what to tell you, folks. Oh, thank you all so much for watching. No, I'm kidding. We're not done yet.
Wrong. The sun is close and local.
Local, yes. Close, compared to the Andromeda Galaxy, yes. Compared to Jupiter, yes. Compared to the moon, not so much.
And it's true that the sun produces light. However, the sun itself is not hot.
So, the sun produces light, but it is not hot. Now, what is the process that causes the sun to produce this light? Is it electric? I mean, electric lights get hot. I'm not sure about LEDs. I've never touched an LED. Don't try that. I have my lights are LEDs. I could try touching one, but I don't want to break my lights. What produces light without heat? I mean, it depends what you classify as heat, like hot. Because I know some of you viewers are British, I know that, and you guys consider 25 degrees to be hot. It's not. Alright, stop your complaining. When you reach 35, 40 degrees, then you'll know what hot is. And for me to say that, I'm sure there's some Americans who live in Arizona will tell me to shut up because 40 isn't even hot. That's in modern degrees, not some primitive degrees. Moving along. Oh god, I got a bit sidetracked there.
The sun produces heat, but not the way that you think it does.
What is there some guy just inside the sun going? Is that what's producing the heat inside the sun? Oh, this is exciting. I really want to know what your argument for this is.
This website is called Cool Cosmos, and it's from Caltech. Like most of mainstream science, there's so much wrong with this article.
Right, and you're a cosmologist. You've studied all of this. You are an expert in your field. You've published numerous papers. No, you haven't done any of that. Did you at least tie your own shoelaces? Just making sure.
Almost every sentence in this paragraph is wrong. So let's quickly go through the article. The sun is a star. Wrong.
That is correct. The sun is a star. It is the closest star to Earth. So you can trick all your friends and say, hey, what's the closest star to Earth? And they'll be a smartass and go, that's Proxima Centauri or Alpha Centauri. And they'll be wrong. You can say, nope, it's the sun. And they'll be, that the sun isn't a star. And then you can slap them across the face for being an idiot. Totally justifiable. Okay.
If mainstream science doesn't know the difference between our sun and the stars, then there is not much hope in our learned friends.
So what is the difference between our sun and the stars? This is your brain on flat Earth. This is... I couldn't write this. This is comedy gold. Loving it.
The scientists. Our sun is unique. Nothing else has the same properties as our sun.
Our sun is a pretty ordinary yellow dwarf star. They're relatively common in the galaxy. Can't say for the entire universe because it's really hard to see stars in other galaxies because they're really far away. But they're pretty common. Not as common as red dwarfs, but yellow dwarfs are pretty common. So it's not perfect for us. It would be better if it was an orange dwarf, but it's a whole different story altogether.
Stars, on the other hand, are really tiny compared to the sun. Stars have
in a way he's correct, because the majority of stars in the galaxy are red dwarfs, and compared to our sun, yes, they are tiny. But they're still really, really huge compared to the Earth. They are massive. But I'm not of the MultiT0mt0m University. I would get a dunce hat there. Let's continue.
Have electromagnetic charges going through them. They are being charged, and this charge produces starlight. You can see this effect when you zoom in on a star. All stars have different colors, shapes, and sizes.
Well, I was wrong, folks. It appears he's got another thing right, unless it's written there. No. Stars are different shapes, colours, and sizes. So that's another fact. And I said at the start, it was the only fact he'd get right. But he's right for the wrong reasons. Now, the electromagnetism thing he's talking about, you know, when you look up at the stars and they twinkle because of atmospheric refraction, that's what he's talking about. That's what he thinks is going on. Flat Earth, not even once.
It is a huge, spinning, glowing sphere of hot gas. Wrong.
Technically, again, he is correct in saying wrong, because it's not gas, it's plasma. It's a fourth state of matter. It's not a solid, liquid, or a gas. It's plasma. There's no way to describe it. He's going to say something ridiculously stupid, though.
The sun is not as big as they claim it is, because the sun is in our atmosphere.
I should be a psychic. I would rake it in. I knew he'd say something stupid. For those playing along at home and who have never seen a MultiT0mt0m video before, you're welcome. And he says atmosplane instead of atmosphere because he is, well, he's a flat earther who has no clue what he's talking about. That's all there is to it.
It is close and local. The sun is actually a spinning, glowing sphere of plasma. The sun is just like the stars you see in the night sky.
Wait. He said before that the stars were different than the sun, right? So, if that's the case, he's just said that they're the same. He doesn't even know what his own thoughts are. I mean, neither do I, but I'm not trying to educate people on the coolness of the sun. I mean, the sun is pretty cool, but not temperature-wise. It's cool like how I'm not.
Wrong.
Thanks.
See my previous answers. It appears so much larger and brighter than the other stars because we are so close to it.
So, you said the other stars were tiny, and now you're saying that they're far away. Which one is it? I've got a clip that can go to this.
Okay, one last time. These are small, but the ones out there are far away. Small, far away.
There you go.
Wrong. I know that you are saying that the sun is only 93 million miles away compared to the other stars which are light years away. No, both the sun and all the stars are within our atmosphere and close.
Is he confusing himself? Because I can't see anywhere in this article where it mentions about them, the stars being far away or being... Maybe I'm confusing with what he's saying, because it's just the dumb coming into my skull. Anyway, we'll see what else he has to say. He's, as he likes to say, wrong. Okay.
They are in the sky. The sun is the center of our solar system and contain most of the mass in the solar system. Wrong.
Well, I mean, if I knew all this time that if you just say wrong to something, it makes it wrong. Like, I should just say that to every one of his statements with nothing to back it up, like what he's doing. But yes, the sun is however many miles. I don't work in miles. I don't know how far that is. I don't even know how far it is in kilometers. All I know is it's 8 light minutes away, or 1 AU. It contains, I think it's something like 99.9% of all the mass in the solar system. Don't quote me on that. I could be wrong. I know it's high. It could be like 98. Whatever. It's still really high. It's the majority. What else was it? And being the center of the solar system, yeah, that's been known for a long time. Most people quote Copernicus as being the dude that brought it into the mainstream, and he probably was the one, but there were people who thought of it beforehand. There's always been a lot of, I guess you could say, cults around the sun, which, stay tuned for that. And so they've always thought the sun is the center of everything, not the earth. But he's going to have some evidence. I know it. One day he's going to pull out all this evidence and we're going to laugh because it's going to be hilarious.
There is no solar system. The heliocentric model is just a model that was created by Nicolaus Copernicus, and we've been living on it ever since.
Wow. So some dude just made up a story, and all the maths and all the science we've conducted to, test it and prove it is just completely negated by somebody saying, wrong. Our whole lives have been a lie. It's that simple to just prove someone wrong. Just next time you want to make a complete dick of yourself, say you're at a party and you're telling a story of how you're the richest person on the planet and someone says, no, Jeff Bezos is, you can just turn around and go, wrong, and you are instantly the richest person on the planet. I guarantee nothing.
The sun is above us in the sky. It travels from east to west on a daily basis. The Earth is an enclosed system, and all luminaries are within the container.
What container? What's outside the container? Have you seen the container? How come there isn't a build-up of carbon dioxide inside this container? Why aren't we overheating? Why don't we see any condensation on this container? These are the questions that really need answering. But I bet you can't. Because it's wrong. I'm sorry. I mean, it's wrong.
All of the planets in our solar system, including Earth, orbit around the Sun.
That's correct.
Wrong. As mentioned about a minute ago, there is no solar system. Planets are not planets. They are wandering stars, meaning they do not have a regular orbit.
Well, then what do they have? Why do they wander? What's the purpose of that wandering stars? Why do some stars wander and others don't? Of all the billions of stars that you can see, why are only, 5 of them? Maybe 6 that you can see? Why are they the only ones that are wandering? Why is it when I look at Jupiter with binoculars, not even a telescope, just plain old binoculars, I can see the moons of Jupiter? Well, some of them. Or if I look at Saturn through a telescope, it has rings. What's the purpose of those rings on a wandering star? How did they form? Why is it a ring around a sphere? These must be really tough questions for somebody who still has to wear Velcro.
The Sun travels around the Earth, not the other way around.
Around the Earth? Surely, as a flat earther, you should say above the Earth, not around it. Because around would imply that it's going around something to cause night and day, and
so it looks like our friends from Caltech are completely wrong about the Sun. They don't have a clue what the Sun is. The men in white coats give us this cartoon as an example of the layers of the atmosphere.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty hard to read with all the Shutterstock written all over it. I'm guessing you didn't pay for a license for that, or probably didn't even get permission to use it. But I don't see what the problem is here. What aren't you understanding? It's not complicated. But let's see where he has to go for this. This is going to be painful. I'm sorry in advance. I don't blame you if you click off now. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. Thumbs up. Thumbs down. I don't care. It can never get as bad as this video. Oh, Jesus.
Or rather, the atmosphere plane. There is so much wrong with it. For example, look at the temperature gradient.
Mm-hmm.
As you rise in elevation, the temperature reaches 0. Then goes below minus 85 degrees centigrade. Then all of a sudden, it magically rises to 2000 degrees centigrade in the exosphere.
Well, it's not all of a sudden. As you can see in the lower section of this table, it starts at 80 kilometers, and then see how it's all jacked in up to 700 kilometers. If that was stretched out so that the gaps were all the same, you would see that it would still be a gradient It slowly increases in temperature. Space itself pretty much doesn't have a temperature because there's nothing there. I'm talking like interstellar space, not just your interplanetary space. Interplanetary space is probably quite warm because it's still got dust particles and all that sort of fun stuff floating around, which can be affected by the heat from the sun, and so it still vibrates like anything else, and anything that vibrates gives off heat. You don't need to listen in this. You don't even understand it. So space will kill you for many different reasons. But this table, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, it slowly increases in temperature. Hey, we got what? Another 2 ticks to get up to 100 kilometers. And I think, yeah, like those ticks they don't even match to get up to 700. I'm not sure what those ticks represent, but it is really, really high up. 700 kilometers is really high up. We generally don't go that high. There's no need to. So, next argument, I guess. See what dumb thing he has to say about it as well.
There is absolutely no evidence for this.
What about the numerous satellites and spacecraft we've... Oh, no, sorry, my bad, he said wrong. So, as soon as he says wrong, it negates everything that's been done beforehand. Sorry, I forgot.
He just made it up because they felt like it.
Oh yeah, if they felt like
Nobody can prove those kind of temperatures at elevation.
Yeah, you can. You already know going to a top of a mountain, temperature decreases. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that one out. To go into space, you will need a rocket scientist. With the amount of private companies now being able to go into space, you can go into space yourself to prove it. To the edge of space. It's not really going into space. You can go to the edge of space. And you can check all this stuff as you're going up. But at the same time, you'll be disproving yourself. So then you'll have to come back to all of your old videos and just put wrong on them. And that's fine. That negates them all.
The hottest temperatures ever recorded are at places like Death Valley, California, the Sub-Sahara region, North Africa, Kuwait, Iran, etc. That is because the sun is directly overhead, over the Tropic of Cancer during the summer solstice. And likewise, during the winter solstice, the sun is directly over the Tropic of Capricorn. And places like Australia, South Africa, and South America receives the hottest temperatures.
You don't have them marked? I just noticed that there's a part of Africa that looks like the Chinese flag. I never noticed that before. That's really cool.
This proves that the sun moves between the tropics. And this is one of the major reasons that we have seasons.
No, that's to do with the tilt of the Earth, and I really need that globe. Oh, I need to set up a post office box as well, so you people can send me hate mail. I look forward to that, by the way.
The sun itself is not hot. I repeat, the sun itself is not hot.
You know what? This is completely off topic, but what I find quite hilarious is this image. He knows how to add images into videos. This image is a screenshot. Instead of exporting it and then adding the full image in, he's just screenshotted whatever app this is that he's using. Like, why? Why not just save the image and then... No, we had enough of that last week, didn't we? Oh, I'm sorry, guys.
The sun is within our atmosphere plane. It is close and local. Now I will explain how the sun generates heat.
Oh, here we go. So I've been waiting for.
The sun produces electromagnetic radiation.
Okay.
The sun rays are in fact this radiation. On Earth, we have a thinner atmosphere plane at height, at elevation.
Why?
Containing less denser gases such as the noble gases.
Why? Why is it thinner? If it's a closed system, then it should be consistent throughout. There is no reason for it to be thinner at elevation. That is the dumbest argument ever. It doesn't thin out as you get higher in a closed system. It's consistent. I don't see how you don't understand that. You say that it has to be a closed system because how can you have a gas next to a vacuum? It's because you don't understand what a vacuum is. No, it's comedy, not frustration. But how does this electromagnetism heat things? How? Would it be infrared radiation, like what the sun produces, and ultraviolet radiation? Or are you just going to call it electromagnetic radiation and just cover everything? Because everything is electromagnetic radiation. That's how it works.
At ground level, we have much denser gases such as nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, etc., etc., etc. So the sun charges the ions in these dense gases.
Which ions? Do you know what an ion is? No. It's okay. We'll let him go on.
And the electrical charge from the sun generates heat. This is the major reason that the temperature is much colder at height. If the sun itself was hot, then the opposite would be true.
No. It doesn't work that way. That's not how reality works. Even in your supposed way, it's still going to affect the mountains differently. More so, in fact, actually. In your system, due to it being closer, it's getting a higher dose of the radiation because it doesn't have to travel as far. So it should be hotter at the mountaintops, regardless of the thickness of the atmosphere. I mean, I know where you're getting these ideas from. I know because most of us flush it away. But for some reason you decide to just let it come back out.
The density of the different gases also explain the pressure gradient system.
Going by your logic, and I use that term very, very loosely, then the gases should settle in layers. So you should have the densest gases sitting just above the surface of the ocean. And then all oxygen would be concentrated. Everything would be concentrated in layers. It doesn't work that way. It's not how reality is. I suppose you think you only need to be breathing the oxygen and you don't need to breathe anything else, or you're not breathing anything but oxygen. Go live on pure oxygen, see what happens. Don't do that. That's a dumb idea. Okay, dumb idea.
According to our friend Wikipedia, the current official highest registered air temperature on Earth is 56.7 degrees centigrade, which is 134.1 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yes, we can read. Thank
recorded
you.
on 10th July 1913 at Furnace Creek Ranch in Death Valley in the United States. So, the highest temperature the sun can generate is around 60 degrees centigrade. So, once again, I repeat, the sun is not hot. Thank you.
Wrong. Oh, it's been quite some time since we got through a whole video, and I can't recall a time where we've ever gotten through a full MultiT0mt0m video. I think this is a new precedent for us. I do hope you enjoyed it. It did get a bit serious there in the middle, because he did piss me off a little bit. I tried to stay calm through the whole thing, and take it as the humour that it should be, because that's just so fucking ridiculous. It's not funny. It is funny, but you know what I mean. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like, leave a comment. Always leave a comment. I don't care if you like or dislike, just click one of the thumbs. They both have the same reaction for me, as long as this doesn't end up being a 1% video, because that would be awful. Not for me, just it'd be lower than MultiT0mt0m. That itself is awful. So, thanks for watching. As always, a special thank you to Purple Haze, Caustic, Lisa, and Jez from Patreon. If you want to join Patreon, you can. There's a link below, I think, if it's still in the description. Check out the merch too. The Don't Be a Dick range is still available until I decide to take it down, and it is fantastic, super comfy. I have heard numerous reports that it is super comfy, so much so that somebody actually went back and bought more stuff because it was so comfy, and it's high fashion, don't forget. Until next time, friends, don't be a dick.